manifesting it out there that you're going to pass, you will pass. Like me, you will. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Juliana and I recently found out that I passed the bar exam. Woohoo! If this is champagne, we could do cheers, but it's coffee. With that said, today's video, I am doing a bar exam Q&A. I have to split this up into two videos. So this is part one of the bar exam series because you guys sent me over 100 questions on Instagram. Got a lot of repeat questions, but I also wanted to make this video more organized. So in this video, we are going to talk about the bar exam itself. I'm going to break it down for you. Then I'm going to talk about my pre-bar prep and Barbri and supplements that I used. And then in the next video, in part two, I will be talking about my study schedule, all things studying, because I have about 30 questions that were specific to how I studied. And I wanted to make a separate video to go around that. And I will also be providing my day-to-day study schedule. Believe me, it will be worth the wait. But also what I'm going to talk about today is extremely important as well. So grab a cup of coffee or tea or a glass of wine if it's later in the day and you're just chilling. And without further ado, let's just get into the questions. The breakdown of the bar exam itself. The bar is 2 days. Now, I technically took the New York bar exam. However, New York adopted the uniform bar exam a few years ago. I don't know the exact year, but the first day of the bar exam is all of the essays. So we have in the morning session 2 MPTs, and the MPTs are multi-state performance tests. There's like a method to the madness of MPTs, and you'll learn that in your bar prep, and you'll learn that maybe in law school, but I'm not going to go into that right now. And then after the MPTs, there's 2 of those, and they're 90 minutes each. After that, in the afternoon session, you have 6 essays. So this varies from state to state because for the UBE, if you are taking the UBE, there's 6 essays that could be on any 13 topics. Yeah, it's crazy because you are studying all 13 topics throughout your bar prep and you don't even know if what you're studying is going to be tested on the exam. And of course, within those topics are your issues, your sub-issues. So there's a lot of information that you need to study. So the 6 essays, and then that's it, done for the day. Day 2 of the bar exam is multiple choice, and that is the MBE, the multi-state bar exam. It's 200 multiple choice questions, and they're not your normal multiple choice situation. All 4 of the answers could be correct, but you have to pick which one is the most correct. It's a bit of a mind, if you know what I'm saying, but you're supposed to do 3,000 questions before you actually take the exam. So you'll notice patterns and you'll get the hang of it before you actually take the test, and it won't be so bad. Another question I got was, what's the difference between the MBE, the MPRE, and the bar exam? So as I said, the MBE is the second day of the bar exam. It's the multi-state bar exam, multiple choice questions. The MPRE is the multi-state professional responsibility exam. You need to take that. You need to take it before you take the bar exam, but most people take it between their second and beginning of the third year of law school. 120 minutes and 60 questions. It's multiple choice, and it just tests your ethics and all the rules that go along with being a ethical, good lawyer. So that's relatively easy, to say the least. I didn't really study too hard for that one. All right, what kind of questions are on the bar exam is another question that I got. So for the MBE, the multiple choice section, there are 7 subjects: civil procedure, con law, contracts, criminal law, criminal procedure, evidence, property, and torts. All definitely come up on the multi-state bar exam. There's no question about it. The multi-state essay examination has, like I said, 6 questions. You should allot 30 minutes to each essay. This one has business associations, which is agency partnerships, corporations, LLCs. And then we have Civ Pro, conflict of laws, con law, contracts, crim law and procedure, evidence, family law, real property, torts, trusts and estates, and the UCC, which is secure transactions. I'm not going to go through all the states that have adopted the UBE. If you are interested in that, definitely look it up because it's important to know when you are preparing for the bar. A few questions that I got of the same, asking what section I found the most difficult. I guess I'm going to go with the essays because for me, those are always harder. When I had an issue spotter final exam, I'm a perfectionist, so I would always take too much time trying to find all the issues. And when I was studying for the bar, I realized you can't do that. It's the points that matter. If you got to pick up the points where you can. So I focused a lot when I was studying on essays. And at the end of the day, even when I took the exam, I felt like they killed me. I was so nauseous after that portion of the exam. I honestly have no words. I feel like shit. I'm trying not to vomit right now. Those essays, it's in God's hands, what, I don't know. I don't think the multiple choice was any easier, to be honest. I kept finishing each section of the multiple choice after 50 in the morning, 50 mid-morning. I thought I would feel better about it after time went on, but no, I kept feeling significantly worse as the sections went on. So I don't know. It's a hard test. It's never going to be easy. So yeah, the essays just take everything out of you. After I finished that day, I was just shot, so nauseous, tired, not well, basically. Somebody asked, what do I think I should have focused on more? Since I passed, nothing. Honestly though, when I was studying, I knew what my weaknesses were and I focused in on them for the last 2 weeks. And then as I was studying throughout the entire 2 months, I just was aware of where I struggled in the past when I was studying for law school finals, and I know myself, and I was very honest with myself throughout the bar prep process. Right before the 2-week mark hit, I did a lot of research and was watching YouTube videos and reading articles about what people did that the 2 weeks before the bar exam that made them successful, or things that they wish they did and things that they changed the second time around. So I took those pieces of advice and implemented them into my study plan because I wasn't going to take it a second time. I think during that time, I focused on things that I probably wouldn't have focused on if I didn't look up the articles or watch the YouTube videos. One girl had a link to a MPT workshop, and I was kind of not really focusing on the MPTs because they tell you really not to focus on them so much because they're easy, blah, blah, blah. But I knew timing was an issue for me, and I wanted to pick up the points where I could. And I knew if I can find a way to just nail these MPTs, I could pick up a lot of points under those two. And then I won't have to feel as stressed out about the essays. I'm going to link that below because I felt like it's from Bar MD, that MPT workshop. I think single-handedly changed the game for me because I scored higher on the writing portion than I did on the multiple choice. So, and I thought I did not well on the essays, but somehow I scored better. So highly, highly recommend to not neglect MPTs and check it out. Check out Bar MD. It was amazing. Last question on the exam itself. What was my instinct when I finished on whether I passed or not? Well, I'm just going to insert a clip here so you can see exactly how I felt immediately after I was done with day 2 of the bar exam. Enjoy. That's it. I don't know if it's just the fact that I've been numb the last few months. I just can't even cry, and I want to, honestly. I really do want to cry, and I just can't. Like, I can't cry. Like, I don't feel good. I just got all these phone calls from my family. It's my birthday, so, you know, they're wishing me happy birthday, and I'm like, thanks. And they're like, oh, how'd you do? And I'm just like, I don't know. And I don't. Now moving on to our second section, pre-bar prep. I got a lot of questions about when should you start studying for the bar? Should you start studying while you're still in law school? So let's just hit the ground running. First question, when should you start studying for the bar? I don't think I could be sitting here being like God and telling you when you should start studying for the bar. You should start studying for the bar when you feel like you should. Personally, I looked at it as I'm still in law school right now as a 3L, right? I was taking normal course load my spring semester. It wasn't like it was, and even in my fall semester, it wasn't like I was taking less classes. So the bar exam was the last thing on my mind. Bar prep courses generally start in end of May, June, and they're 2 months long, 8 to 10 weeks. Like, people study 8 to 10 weeks hardcore. Yeah, you could casually start studying earlier than that, but you're not going to hardcore study until you are graduated and right about to take the bar, 8 to 10 weeks out. So for me, I didn't see it necessary to fixate on something that was so far away. And so that's my suggestion. Wait until at least your spring 3L if you want to start a little review. And that brings me to my next question. When did I start studying? And how important is starting bar prep while still in school? So I started studying for the bar technically during my 3L spring semester. I took 2 early bar prep classes that my school offered, which, you know, you pay a lot of money for bar prep. Barbri, for example, and we'll get into that later in the video, is almost $3,000. And add on the supplements, like you're spending a pretty penny, you know, if you're not sponsored by a law firm or whatnot. So if your school's offering classes that were already included in the tuition that you're already paying, then do it.
What are you waiting for? Do it!
You'd be silly not to. So as a part of my 15 credits for spring of 3L, I took 2 classes. One was focused on the multiple choice portion of the exam, and then the other was focused on the essay. And I honestly, I mean, did I take them super seriously? Not really, but it was definitely a nice refresher and review, because I'm not remembering everything from my evidence con law from 1L, like evidence I took during 2L, but you know, I'm not remembering all that stuff. And so it was nice to get a jump start on that. After that though, I took the entire month of May off, went to Florida for a week immediately after finals, came back. I planned a lit grad party, just hung out and saw all my friends and family, then went to New Hampshire with my fiance. We actually toured our wedding venue because I knew that like I would be studying for the bar exam and I wanted to get that out of the way, and so did he, because he didn't want a long engagement. So we actually booked the venue before I even got engaged. But that was Memorial Day weekend, and then we came back, and June 1st I started Barbri, and I studied every single day until July 23rd, which was the Friday before the bar exam. Saturday I got my hair done, and then Sunday I did a little review. Monday I did not study, and then Tuesday was the first day of the exam. So I did not take any days off, but we will go into more detail of my study schedule and like what I actually did on a day-to-day basis in the next video. So welcome to section 3. We're going to talk all things Barbri, because the first question is, what bar review course did I use? Well, Barbri, which is probably the most commonly used bar review course among law students or law graduates. Were there any other bar prep courses I considered? Well, yes. And a follow-up question is Barbri versus Themis. And then is Barbri best? Yeah, I'm in between Barbri and Themis. Number 1, I did consider all of the mainstream bar prep courses, Barbri, Themis, Kaplan. You can see up here, I will link it, my video, the day I bought Barbri, and I went through and I looked at each bar prep course, the costs, the pros and the cons of what they offer, and at the end of the day, I did go with Barbri, obviously, as I said. With Themis and Kaplan, I can't really speak to like the nitty gritty of their courses. In the 2 classes that I took during 3L, we used Themis and Kaplan, so I had access to those multiple choice question banks and some videos and essays, but I didn't think that it was anything special, to be honest. Yeah, of course, they're both cheaper than Barbri, but there's a reason why everybody, well, the majority of everybody chooses Barbri. At the end of the day, you're investing in your future and you really only want to take this test once. If you are familiar with Barbri, during 1L, 2L, and 3L, they give you access to outlines and practice questions for your final exam. So I did have a little taste of that as well. So between all 3 and having like the samples of each, I went with Barbri. Another couple questions. What is the structure of Barbri's program, and do they have a plan that you're supposed to follow? Yes, they have a plan that you're supposed to follow. It's called your personalized study plan. You take your first like baseline exam. It kind of shows where you're at. Everybody has the same exact study schedule, like all the topics and the tasks that they give you are the same. When you log in, you could filter out certain tasks, and one filter, it will be like Julianna's recommendations. And that's what it's the default filter. So it will tell you which order to go in. Sometimes I was in a different order than my friends, and it's fine. We ended up being like a few days apart from each other. But back to the structure, they have live lectures. They have I never attended a live lecture. My friends did a few times, I believe, but I was getting up and doing my own thing. And when I wanted to start Barbri, I wanted to start it like when I wanted to. The first week, I had what they call MBE immersions. My friends did that like in May, but I wasn't going to start studying until June. So I started the immersions, which was like little videos and then multiple like MBE questions afterwards. So it was on all 7 of the MBE topics. And then after I went through all the immersions videos, and then like the second half of the first week, then I got into the lectures for like the main substantive topics of the MBE. So you work through the lecture if you want to watch it in the mornings, or you can watch it live. I think it was like live at like 11 a.m. or whatever, but I'd watch the lectures. They have a lecture handout which had fill in the blanks. So as you're following along, you fill in the blank, but you don't have to like write out a lot. But I had that on my iPad as I watched the lecture. And then after the lectures, there was always multiple choice question sets, which were MBE questions, but they were MBE questions that they made up based on what the MBEs are like on the exam. They definitely make their questions a lot harder than what the actual bar exam questions are. And after those questions, I would do some essays, whatever were assigned for that day, and roughly I would do about 6.5 to 7 hours of Barbri work per day. And that kept me on a steady pace. And they would say that I would finish my study schedule or my study plan if I kept to 6.5 to 7 hours a day for Barbri every single day up until like the day before the exam. But ultimately, all of the essays that they give you are licensed essays, which is great. And they have so many. They have way more available than what they assign you in your study plan if you wanted to do extras. Every single topic, all 13, has a 3 to 4 hour video lecture dedicated to it. As it gets more into your studying, you have to like review the outlines that they give you. They also have mini lectures going over like MBE strategies for each individual topic. So like they'll have a mini evidence MBE strategies video, and then they also have MPT strategy videos. Same thing with the essays. They give you a lot of study resources, plus an additional 2,000, I think, or something like that, multiple choice test bank. They also give you a simulated essay exam and a simulated MBE exam. Like another thing that swayed me to choosing Barbri was their simulated MBE. So you have one day where you just pretend it's test day and you're taking 200 questions. And then everybody that takes it, like they'll put you on like a bell curve and you could see where you're at compared to all the other people that are using Barbri, which is nice, you know. What percentage of Barbri did I complete? I want to say approximately like 93%, because 2 weeks out, I kind of stopped following my Barbri study schedule to a T, because before that I was finishing every single task, like everything they told me to do, I did. However, with the 2 weeks, I started focusing on my weaker areas, and I was also using Adaptibar a lot more and my Emanuel's book a lot more, and we'll go into detail my supplements after this section. The last 2 weeks of Barbri, they tell you to review like their big like outlines, and they assign a lot of practice essays, which I did, and a lot of multiple choice questions, which I was doing Adaptibar, so I didn't feel the need, and Adaptibar is license questions, so I didn't feel like doing the Barbri questions. They say if you finish at least 75%, you have a high chance of passing. So for me, I knew what was best for me 2 weeks out, and I wasn't like really stressing about not finishing the Barbri like 100%. Did I feel confident using Barbri? Well, yes, the numbers don't lie. I mean, it's the top choice among law students, and I feel like they have a great reputation. I didn't hear anything bad about Barbri when I was researching bar prep courses. And when I made my decision, I felt confident knowing that there were so many lawyers before me that used Barbri and passed. Would I say that Barbri prepared me for the bar properly? I think the question was properly prepare me for the bar. Well, yes, I passed. So I think absolutely it prepared me. Did I feel prepared with Barbri going into the exams? Like a similar question from the one before, but a little bit different. I can give you like a little bit different answer to this. Yes, knowing that I finished 95% of the course, like plus all the additional hours that I put into studying with my supplements, I would say that like on the day of the exam, I felt confident that I was prepared for sure. Like I knew that I did all that I could possibly do. I put in the work every single day, did not take a day off. Some days maybe I did, not start as early as I usually did, or I ended earlier, or I took more breaks, but like I did it. I made sure that every single day I was doing something productive, something that was going to help me pass in the long run. This is a good one. Do I think I would have passed if I didn't use Barbri? I can't like speak on the other bar prep courses. However, I could wholeheartedly say that I don't think I would have passed if I didn't have a commercial bar prep course. There's a reason why there's bar prep courses. There's a reason for it, because there's just so much, you can't possibly organize all the material and like do this on your own. Just trust the process. Trust that so many people before you use a bar prep course. It might be expensive, but I tell you, it will absolutely, without a doubt, be worth it. So I don't know if I would have passed without Barbri, but I definitely wouldn't have passed without a bar prep course in general. And last but not least in this section, my overall opinion on Barbri. Overall, I passed the exam, so I love it. I love Barbri. They did amazing. The number one thing for me was like bar prep is so repetitive, right? Barbri does a great job in breaking things up for you and making your day not the same thing over and over again. And it gives you the power to choose when you want to start and what tasks you want to do today in whatever order. It gives you the things you need to do, but you can do it in whatever order you want. And the professors for the lectures are so amazing.
That's a null set. Because to a New Yorker, there's nothing that exceeds all bounds of decency. We'd tolerate anything. Come on, you get on the New York City subway, there's some guy sitting across the way from you. He's holding a severed human head. What do? Don't make eye contact. He throws the head at you, what do you do now? Yeah, throw the head right back at him. Hey, buddy, you forgot your head. You leave the subway, there's dead bodies all over the street. You're like, this is disgusting. They forgot to clean up today. Your license plate says forget about it. Okay?
Again, I can't speak to the other courses, but I was laughing in a lot of them. Not in a bad, I was not like laughing at them like meanly. They were just cracking jokes and making things like so relatable. And I remember things because of the jokes that they were saying. And if anything, you should choose Barbri because of how amazing the professors that they have are. And they're just so good. I had such a, I'm not gonna lie, I had a good time during bar prep. It wasn't like something that I dreaded every day. There were days, that I felt like trash, but overall, like looking back on the experience, it was fine. I'm not sure it would have been the same if I went with one of the other courses, but if I had to give my recommendation, it would be to go with Barbri. This is not sponsored by Barbri, by the way. I wanted to refill my coffee before we got to part 3 of this video because, guys, this is long. I hope you have a nice beverage in front of you or a snack, because now we are about to get real deep into it, okay? Part 3 is all about the supplements that I used. And no, not workout supplements or vitamins. The supplements that are going to probably make you pass the bar exam on the first try. Like me. I think I have bragging rights, right? I think so. I would say. I definitely wouldn't be making this video if I didn't pass, so passing on the first try as a first generation female law student, I think I have bragging rights. I'm giving them to myself. First question. Did I only use Barbri and Adaptibar? No. Adaptibar, 100%. Let's talk about it quickly. Worth every single freaking penny. Okay? I know the bar review course that you're going to buy is very expensive. A few $1,000s, right? However, they don't have licensed MBE questions. Adaptibar has every single question. Besides, they do have a few extra civil procedure questions that they've made up on their own. They're called simulated questions because civil procedure was not tested on the MBE for a good amount of years. It's more recent, so they don't have enough, so they made their own. But other than that, every question that you come across has been on a past bar exam. So this is the Adaptibar website. Everything you need to pass the MBE. It literally is, as I said. You can do a test drive option just to try it out for free. Also has a app for your cell or for your iPad, which I use from time to time. Sometimes in the middle of the night, if I was a little bit anxious, I would do some Adaptibar problems, but like otherwise I kind of shut off for the night. So basically, it helps you study more effectively. As it says on the website, they have a patented adaptive technology with licensed MBE questions and diagnostic tools. So I think the questions that they have and like you going through the practice exams is the closest you're going to get to like actual test day. So, and they also give you great feedback if you go through practice questions that you are not taking a practice exam. When you do practice questions, you would see the answer explanation. So I think that's really helpful. I did not do the video lectures portion. You can add on that and flashcards. I did not do that either, but it's $395. I think I could find or if you Google, you can get a little discount. It's like $30. That's what I did. Or you could bill your law firm. But highly recommend Adaptibar. What supplements did I use though, besides Adaptibar? All right, number 2, hard copy situations we got here. I'm just gonna go through all of them and then I'll go into detail about them all. Strategies and Tactics for the MBE by Emanuel. It is a hefty book, and I talked about this earlier in the video, but it's amazing. Number 2, this is my own binder, but JD Advising's MEE one sheets. They are basically a little like attack outline cheat sheet for each topic that could possibly come up on the essays. On the last 2 to 3 weeks when you're trying to memorize, these are what I really dug into, because it was very overwhelming to look at the Barbri outlines because they were humongous, and I just really, JD Advising did all the work for you already, and they pulled out the most commonly tested laws and rules and basically put it out on those sheets for you. So highly recommend those. I thought that they were extremely helpful, and yeah, every single day for the last 2 weeks of my prep, I woke up at 5:30, 6 a.m. And before I even opened up Barbri or Adaptibar, I went through these one sheets and I made note cards, and I was just basically rewriting the rules and practicing recall, because those are the things that you really did need to know when you're taking the exam. On top of JD advising one sheets, probably 3 weeks before the end of my prep, I needed more ways to memorize the information. And so I found Approsheets from makeityourlasttime.com. I'm going to pull it up right here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So I got the Approsheets, not to be confused with the magic sheets that they have. And make sure, because this is also California based, this person who made these, make sure if you're not in California like me to choose the UBE option. So I think these are $60, which honestly, well worth the money. I use them every day for 3 weeks. Here is like a little sample of what one of them looks like. They come, in all the topics for the multi-state essay exams. So here is the criminal law example. It kind of gives you a checklist and then has little charts, and it goes through like certain issues and then asks you questions and like gives you like what the issue would be and then what is the law for that issue that commonly comes up. So, and like defenses that could be used. And look at these charts. Like, this is what I really liked, because it was all just consolidated into like 2 sheets per topic. So I thought they were extremely helpful. Ultimately, those were all the supplements I used. Going into more detail on the strategies and tactics book, on a day where like I just didn't feel like staring at the computer screen, this was nice. Especially like I would crack this open at like 6 a.m. when I sat down at my desk. I don't want to be going on to Adaptibar at 6 o'clock in the morning. I just wanted to sit and casually sip my coffee and read through and just have a good old highlighter. And like I thoroughly enjoyed that. Maybe I'm weird, but whatever. So at the beginning of every topic, so say for civil procedure, for example, it has a like coverage outline. I went through that. It tells you exactly what to expect on the exam, what the topics and subtopics that have been tested in the past, and like a full outline. I'm not saying you need to go through the whole thing. I highlighted here and there pieces, and then all the practice questions. And then at the end of each topic, there's the explanations. And I really find the Emanuel's series it makes sense. So that's the end of part 3, and also the end of part 1 of this bar exam Q&A video. I will leave you with this, the last question I'm going to answer in this video. One piece of advice for studying for the bar exam, what would it be? Before you even start studying the substantive material, you need to mentally and physically prepare yourself to study and keep up with that mental health and self-care routine throughout the entire prep period. Okay, it might be hard, but you need to commit to that from the beginning, and you need to get ready for it. And I'm going to go into significant detail in the next video about mental health and what I did to prepare and dealing with stress and anxiety. But to keep it short here and to conclude, that's really, I think, what made me pass the bar. Yes, I studied every single day and I studied hard, but I went in with a positive mindset from the very beginning. And I was the healthiest I have ever been. And I had a solid routine, morning, afternoon, and night. Like clockwork, I did the same thing. I fed my body well. I had all these different vitamins. I took care of my skin. I slept. I meditated. You name it, I did it. I didn't care how silly it sounded, but if it was going to reduce anxiety or if it was going to boost my brain power or be able to study and focus longer, then I was going to do it. I don't care how silly it was. You got this. Positive, positive, positive vibes, manifesting it out there that you're going to pass. you will pass, like me. You will. So with that said, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss part 2 of my bar exam video. We can get all the details about my study schedule. I will be releasing my study schedule on my blog as well when that video comes out, and more detail about how I maintained my mental health throughout the bar prep process and during the bar exam. So with that said, thank you all if you made it this far. God bless you. If you're taking the bar exam, good luck. If you're starting bar prep, even more good luck and Godspeed. I am so happy you're here, and I will see you guys next time.